It's that time, weather for Weather Geeks Time, the Friday evening edition. Finally Friday, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about again. So let's get right to it this evening. No, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the radar when I hit record because, of course, the information gets outdated quickly. But as I was getting set to record here a little before 7 p.m., our main squall line approaching from the north and west, and conditions will deteriorate as we go through mid-evening. Look for shorter update videos as we go through the evening, coming from me. As far as the overnight hours, this main band comes through, and then we're going to be left with scattered snow showers around. Lake effect becomes the predominant flavor here, and this band will kind of wiggle around. This is the main band. Now, I do think, despite Futurecast not showing much, there'll be other little bands of snow in through here, but this will be the main band, and this actually has a Lake Huron connection, so it picks up moisture from two lakes and deposits it over northwest PA, northeast Ohio. It'll kind of wobble back and forth and wiggle around, and that is something to keep an eye on all the way through tomorrow, that predominant band. Outside of that, sure, there can be some snow showers, but that's the main band to watch for the heaviest snow amounts as we go through tonight and tomorrow. That's why snowfall totals will likely be highest in our viewing area in parts of Mercer County, because northwest PA will probably be in that band for the longest period of time. In the pinks here, we're talking about a foot plus, including southwest New York, parts of Erie County, PA, into parts of Crawford County up towards Meadville. In our viewing area, 2 to 4 in the light blue, including a lot of our more populous areas. 3 to 6, kind of the northern half of Trumbull, and far, far northern Trumbull, and then heading over into the northern, say, half of Mercer. Some places could get 8 to 12 inches, depending on where that thing wobbles around. Now, most of this will occur tonight, but I'll tell you, tomorrow, if you get under a couple of snow showers, you can still pick up some accumulations tomorrow. If you manage to not get under too many snow showers tomorrow, your additional accumulations tomorrow will be fairly light. So this map covers all the way through tomorrow, but your mileage is going to vary here. Conditions are going to be variable. In the 2 to 4 zone, there'll be a lot of places that get 1.5 to 2 inches, and there might be a couple of places that get 5, and they might not be all that far away from each other. So it's going to be a deal a lot like Wednesday, where it just kind of depends on where you live. It's going to be very, very localized. This is a general guide. Don't take it as the gospel, though. There'll be some variations within these ranges, for sure, as oftentimes is the case with lake effect. Okay, cold weather, that becomes our next story. It's cold enough as it is, but our Arctic front is lurking off to the north and west, and the temperatures in Canada are, of course, just ridiculous. It's well below zero up there. And wind chills. Boy, you don't like to see these colors on the wind chill map. And even though I don't have the wind chills plotted up, all you have to do is look at the legend up at the top of the screen. And we're talking wind chills, current wind chills in parts of Canada. Thankfully, in a not very populous area. But 40 to 50, 60 below, those are wind chill numbers in parts of Canada this evening. Our wind chills are in the single digits, and our air mass will more resemble the one out in the Midwest late tonight and tomorrow, so our wind chills will drop down into the teens below zero tonight. Wind chill advisories for our entire viewing area. Brutal start to the day Saturday, and then in the afternoon, wind chills will climb to maybe -4 or -5. It's still going to be no fun to be outside with a gusty wind through Saturday evening. Sunday morning, there won't be much wind, but actual temperatures will be even colder Sunday morning than they will be tomorrow morning. So even with a very light wind, there could still be wind chills below zero to kick off the day. On Sunday, wind chills Sunday afternoon, single digits to around 10, still not much in the way of a breeze just yet. All right, so our Arctic front pushes through tonight. Tomorrow, again, there'll be these streamers that come and go. The predominant lake effect band will kind of wiggle around, especially northwest PA. But accumulations during the daylight hours tomorrow will be fairly modest, except if you get a heavier squall, and there's just no saying where that might set up. So be sure to check out Andrew's updates in the morning, and I'll have an update as well. High pressure then drifts across. That'll calm the wind down. It'll give us a little bit of sunshine on Sunday. But then Sunday night, we have a warm front heading our way, and even though the steadiest of the snow is likely to be south of the Ohio River, I could see where we try to get a coating to maybe an inch or two worth of snow Sunday night, early Monday. Not a big event, not a high-impact deal. A lot of people have Monday off. It's President's Day, including the kids. So the impacts would be fairly minimal. All right, then we've got a lot of question marks as we head towards midweek. The big question is, what will happen with this low-pressure system down across the lower Mississippi Valley? It's going to track northeast. And what is the track? Is it going to be a track that takes it kind of like this, or is it going to be more like this? And that'll have big time impacts as to our weather as we go into Monday night and Tuesday. I haven't changed this idea since last night. I still think that the highest odds for a decent dumping of snow will be just east of our viewing area. Central PA, down into the mountains of West Virginia, Blue Ridge Parkway, heading up into upstate New York. That's where it's most likely. But that said, this isn't set in stone. I mean, it's still very possible that we get in on some of this accumulating snow back across eastern Ohio and far western PA during the course of Monday night and Tuesday. I'll show you some modeling here. Here's this morning's GFS. If taken literally, this has a near miss for us with almost no snow in our viewing area, although it's a razor-thin margin. You know, if this is exactly right, which it's not going to be, but if it were exactly right, we'd have 0 in Youngstown and maybe 6 inches in Pittsburgh. Razor-thin margin, we're talking. And then the storm pushes off to the north. That's the GFS. Here's a look at the European model. I'm actually going to show you the high-resolution version of the European, which is going to debut in early March, I believe. You can get a sneak peek on weatherbell.com, which is where these images come from. It's a pay site, but it's worth every penny of it if you're a weather enthusiast. The European high-res version here is sort of like this morning's GFS in that it's a razor-thin margin. If this were to be exactly right, we would probably see some snow accumulation, but not much, a couple or a few inches, with much higher totals east of I-79. So razor-thin margin there. We oftentimes, in these very uncertain situations, look at ensembles. An ensemble model, if you're new to this, they take the kind of the master run of the model and then tweak the initial conditions a whole bunch of times, keep running it a bunch of times, and it shows different solutions based on those initial tweaks. It's a good idea to look at these things, especially in the longer range, because, you know, there can be such variable outcomes just depending on if there's a little bit of an error in the initialization of the model. So the ensembles help to smooth out some of those errors. As we look at the European ensemble here, 52 members, and when you come up with an average of those 52, here's how much snow it predicts. Generally, let's back up here. Generally, it's looking at probably 2 to 4, 3 to 5, something like that, as far as an average with Monday night and Tuesday. A snowstorm that could lead to some adjustments Tuesday, some inconveniences, but not a huge deal. Kind of the master run of the European ensemble package is much beefier. But notice how different it is than the mean. The mean really smooths it out because there's a lot of members of that ensemble that don't have much snow. And then there's some that have a lot, and then the mean is somewhere kind of in the middle. And that's where I think we want to be at this point. You know, if I had to kind of guess as to what's going to happen here, I think it'll be a glancing blow. I think we'll get some snow accumulations Monday night into Tuesday morning. I don't necessarily think at this point, though, odds favor any sort of big storm. This isn't going to be a 6 to 12 kind of storm. That's what I think right now. Stay tuned, though. I think we'll have much better guesses as we go into the weekend and we get a little closer to this event, and the modeling is sampling the storm a little bit better. But as it stands right now, I think odds favor some snow, but not a ton of snow. Monday night and Tuesday. Quick look at March. I think the end of February will be variable. We'll have a warm period next weekend, a cool shot for the end of February. Climate model pointing towards a warm March. This could be especially weighted towards the tail end of March. March could start chillier than average, but if the climate model is to be believed, March will be mild, much like many of our winter months. February, we were running a huge surplus temperature-wise at plus 10 a few days ago. We've really eaten away at that, but we're still at plus 3. And with the warmth coming next weekend, we could end up with a pretty close to average February. It'll all kind of iron out, despite the very warm start and the very cold middle of the month. All right, stay tuned for shorter video updates as our snow squall comes through this evening. Stay safe out there. Conditions are going to be very changeable, and I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 11.